Good morning, everybody. So, welcome to the daily review. So, let's go over what we got today. There's a few things I want to go over. First of all, on the channel, I am getting up to almost 500 subscribers. So, I want to say thanks to everyone who's supported me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and maybe hit the like button. It does help the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything to give us a shout out. And I really appreciate it. And I'll be doing a 500 subscriber Q&A coming up, so I'll be setting up a video and a link for that. And so I'm excited. 500 is a good milestone for the channel, and I want to thank everyone for being so supportive. You guys have been really great, and it really helps to see the encouragement and the love I'm feeling. So, anyways, let's get into Arena. So we've got. Let's see. Let's try and change this. Okay, didn't work. Okay, so I've said before with this Premier Draft IKORIA, like the only thing you're getting is you're drafting against live people, right? And it's timed. But for 10,000, basically you're still going to get now, you're not getting that Godzilla card anymore. You're still just getting the 3 packs, and then you can have a chance to win. Now, let's see. I did not actually look at the win rate here, so it's like basically like 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you can win more packs. Let's go back and check out the other one. Does it have a better win rate? Yeah, see, okay, so for 10,000 you get a better win rate, and you probably get more gems or more packs. So I would say overall though, like let's say for 10,000 and you have, let's say 2 wins, right? And I think that's reasonable to say you're gonna most people would get at least 2 wins. So if you entered this twice, you would get your 6 packs, and then you would also get, if you got 2 wins, you would probably get another 2 packs. So you end up with 8 and 400 gems, right? If you, for that same 10,000 gems, you would go in here, and if you got 2 wins, you would get only 5 packs and 250 gems. So I think still, it's probably, unless you're sure you can get up to this level here, right? Like up to about here, right? 4 wins rate, that I would not go into this Premier draft, right? I would just draft using the regular draft, because otherwise you're just not going to get the value out of it that you would. But I mean, it is a risk. If you go, if you get 7, like hell, man, like 7 is like 2,200 gems and 6 packs, right? So there's lots to, it's a good. I guess with great risk comes great reward. So I guess it just depends if you're feeling conservative or not. But 10,000 gems is a lot. Okay, let's go mastery here. I actually just yesterday got this sleeve, and I really actually like this Song of Creation sleeve. I wouldn't really pay money for it, but I mean, but it's nice. And we're just continuing on the mastery path tree. I think I've got everything except for this path, the white path. So let's go. I guess Keen Sight Mentor. There we go. Yay! Okay, let's check out the store. So, okay, for sure, I'm gonna say yes to get this. So let's go daily deals. I would never get card styles. 700 gold for a pack is good. All right, so let's go and open that pack. I got 5 packs of IKORIA too. So, all right. Let's go open that up. Follow the turn. I love this card because I have actually like this jank land destruction deck that uses this, where you actually just stall the game, destroy all your opponent's lands, and then exile them all from the graveyard. It's actually hilarious to see it when that happens. But you only do it to your opponent, so you get your lands back, but your opponent doesn't. It's actually pretty funny. All right. A one-sided land destruction. Okay. Oh, okay, Luca. Yeah, Luca's good. I mean, he's highly played and he's not banned. We'll talk about that in just a minute here. Okay. Rare wild card. Mythos of Aluna. Alright, sure. I always like getting rares. Let's see, what else do we have here? Another Mythos card. Those ones I might consider actually putting into my cube. So, Quartzwood Crasher. Alright, I don't think I've ever really seen that card, but alright, let's keep going. And Cheville. Cheville's a good guy, a fun commander, and also fun in Brawl, so, that's pretty good. I'll take it. Well, I'll never say no to cards. So, all right. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the banned and restricted announcement. So we can go through that together here. I have actually only just looked at the top part of it, but I haven't looked at their rationale. So why don't we go and read it together? So I'll pull this over here. All right. So we got banned and restricted announcement. Thanks, Ian Duke. Okay, so new companion rule. Once per game, anytime you could cast a sorcery during your main phase when your stack is empty, you can play 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. This is a special action, not an activated ability. Okay, so I think what they're doing is they're saying you have to bring the companion into your hand first, and then you can play it. We'll read it further. Okay, so we got Agent of Treachery banned, Fires of Invention banned. Okay, those 2 cards had to go, but I don't think that... Okay, Fires is going to make a big difference, but I don't think that it's actually going to make any difference with Agent of Treachery, to be honest. All right, because like if you think about like who's using Agent of Treachery? Okay, well, Gyruda might use it. Although Gyruda typically doesn't use it. Typically it's a Winota deck that's fishing for it. But all they're going to do is fish around and get a Kenrith instead, right? The problem isn't that you have Agent of Treachery. Agent of Treachery is actually a decent card if you can cast it for its 7 mana cost, right? But the fact that people like cheated out on like turn 3 or 4, right? That's where the real problem comes, right? And also the fact that there's so many ways to flicker it, right? So I mean, they're just going to find something else that's broken, like I said, like Kenrith. And that's just gonna replace that. So Agent of Treachery can't be banned just on its own. I don't think that's the real problem. The reason why they're willing to ban Agent of Treachery though is because it's an older card, and they're done selling packs from that, right? It's from that set. Same thing with Fires of Invention. Fires of Invention I think needed to go because it's just straight up free casting. When will Wizards learn that you cannot let people free cast stuff? Right, like when you can basically give a person double their mana every turn, right? That's just ridiculous, right? So I mean, Fire's Invention was just totally broken, and they should not have that at all. All right, and then they suspended it in Historic, both of them in Historics. Suspended basically means temporarily banned. They're going to see how it goes, and they might reinstate it, or else they might just continue with the ban. Okay, so here's the companion rule change. I don't think actually this is going to make too much of a difference. It's going to ruin the Jeskai Fires deck, but I mean, I don't think that's enough. I think they actually needed to do like almost 20 cards. I'll be making a video on broken cards and the current power level and stuff like that shortly. I just need to find the time to do it. But okay. While Magic rules changes aren't normally a part of the banned and restricted list update, yeah, no shit. In this case, we're introducing a change to the companion mechanic that's motivated by game balance and metagame share across play environments. Effective with this update, the companion mechanic and all cards featuring it will now work differently from before. Okay, the new version of the mechanic will work as follows. Once per game, anytime you could cast a sorcery during your main phase when the stack is empty, you can pay 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. This is a special action, not an activated ability. It happens immediately and can't be responded to. It can't be countered or stopped by cards like Phyrexian Revoker. Okay, that is a problem. That's my problem. So one of the things that Wizards has been doing is they've been allowing a ton of free casting. Okay, but the other thing is non-responsive bullshit, right? Non-interactive stuff. So stuff that you cannot do into impact, and this is my biggest issue with cycling, right? It's the same thing with energy, is when you do something that your opponent has no way to interact with, you just can't stop it, right? So like even if they hold up counter spells, or they have like some certain protections or whatever, there's just nothing you can do against that, right? So when you make it so like they need to make it so that the companion, like when they try and bring it into your hand, that you can counter that, right? And then right, then it would be potentially fair, right? But even then, you got to think, like, basically it's like what you're saying is that I'm going to reserve a card on the side of my deck. Okay, so let's say we're playing a game and I say I'm going to pick just one card out of my deck, and I'm going to put it on the side, and then at some point whenever I want, I can pay 3 mana and just put it in my hand. So essentially you just got like a demonic tutor, right? And it can be 3 generic mana, so it's 3 of any mana, right? So a 3-mana demonic tutor that doesn't cost you any life or anything like that. So, I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Right? I mean, that is super powerful. It's basically saying, like, I get this extra card and I can just spend 3 mana and fetch it out anytime I want, right? And the card I'm fetching out is going to be super powerful too, right? Like, no one's going to accept that, right? Like, I mean, like, if I said that to you, you would just be like, okay, that's bullshit, right? Like, you know, and think about how powerful other decks could be, right? Like, if you could have like a lantern control deck, for instance, where, you know, let's say for 3 mana you could just fetch whatever card you wanted, right? Like, you know, and just sit it outside. Or if you did that with any of the big archetypes, like a Jund deck, where for 3 mana you could just go fetch out whatever you wanted, right? Everybody would do that, right? I think that what they should do is put this on, and then tell your opponent should also get the same thing. To say, pick a card from your deck, right? And then, you know, they can put it on into their special zone, and for 3 mana they could fetch it out also. So, because if you're going to be able to do it, then why can't I do it, right? Okay, so our reason for making this change is based on metagame data and play rates of companion decks across all formats. Yeah, like 100% play rate basically, and on player feedback on repetitive gameplay patterns. Yeah, it sucks. As a group, decks using companions have too high of win rates and metagame share. Yeah, no shit. Okay. Have already necessitated bans in Legacy and Vintage. This trend represents a long-term problem for the health and diversity of all formats. Yeah, you guys should have seen that. Like, I think everybody saw this, like, at the beginning when Companions first came out. Like, why, like, if we as the community aren't the experts, you know, like, we are experts in a way, but, like, you're the designers. You should know this, right? Didn't your playtesting figure this out? But anyways, rather than go down the path of making several individual adjustments to the banned list for each format, we feel the better solution is to reduce the advantage gained from using a companion across the board. Yeah, I still think it's a major advantage, right? I don't think that you're going to see, like, at most you're going to slow things down. And, like, okay, so now basically I could go, and I had to pay 3 mana to put my Gyruda into my hand, right? At most that's going to stop me, you know, like, I might already have Gyruda in my hand, right? So I don't think that's really, like, because when people are playing Gyruda or something like that, like, they're not just, they're playing the one in the sideboard or one in the special zone, but they're still playing 3 in their hand, so it's likely they might have it anyways, right? That's not really the issue. Same thing with Lurrus. Like, so you put Lurrus in your hand, great, slows him down by a turn, right? But I mean, overall, I think that Lurrus and those types of companions are still too broken. Okay. Slowing people down by 1 turn, I don't think is going to make that big of a difference. Like, yes, it does make a difference, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to make it so that people just say, oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna deal with these cards anymore. All right, so the result we intend is to reduce the metagame share of companion decks while still capturing the spirit of the mechanics design, still having companions be worth building around in many cases. We expect that this new version of the companion mechanic will result in a deck building challenge, a means of self-expression that some players can opt into rather than being a huge part of the competitive metagame. The problem with this is that the limitations that the companions have aren't really that big of a limitation, right? Like, to say that, okay, well, everything has to be, you know, 2 mana or less. Well, okay, we've shown that that is actually really, you know, really reasonable, right? You can make an amazing deck with just 1 and 2 mana stuff, right? What they should have is that it should be like all like 6 mana or higher, right? Or something like that, right? Like, I mean, then basically you just can't do anything for the first whole bunch of turns, and you just have to, like, pound your opponent, right? Like, or you just have to take a pounding until you can get it out, right? We discussed several alternative rule changes, but ultimately settled on this one as it best mitigates the potential for repetitive gameplay and provides a wider window of interaction. By charging additional mana, playing a companion becomes less efficient relative to playing the other cards the player has drawn. In this way, players are more likely to cast their other spells before their companion, resulting in more divergent game paths. Okay, so I do like that it's not instant speed. It has to be sorcery speed, but I do not like that you can't counter it. Right, so next, this additional mana will often slow the companion down by a turn, allowing the opponent to interact with it while in the companion player's hand, or otherwise giving the opponent an additional turn to plan ahead before the companion hits the battlefield. Okay, yeah, that's true. But again, what if I can't interact with your hand? Right? Like, you know, so basically only Dimir or straight up black players can deal with it at that time. Right? Like, you know, like, that's, I don't know, like, not allowing, then you still gotta wait for it to be countered, I guess, right? But knowing it can come out. I don't know. It's rare that we use a rules change to address metagame balance, but this isn't something we have plans to do in the future. In this case, the issue wasn't with one individual card, but rather the companion as a group. We believe the solution is preferable to potentially needing to make multiple bans across different formats over time. So basically, what they're saying is, we didn't really want to ban these cards because we still want to sell the IKORIA. All right. Like I feel like I'm kind of being really negative, but like the companions are just brutal. Like I feel like they should have known that these would break the format. All right. So, anyways, over the course of the last several weeks, Fire's Invention decks have risen to have dominant win rate and metagame presence in Standard, achieving a 55% win rate and having even favorable matchups against each of the other top 10 archetypes. This indicates that metagame forces alone aren't sufficient to keep the deck in check. Yeah, I think people figured it out like 6 months ago. All right. In addition, as we craft and test future environments, we found the card Fire's Invention to be a significant design and balance constraint because of the flexible nature of the cost reduction effects. Fire's Invention decks would continue to gain power as new high mana cost spells are added to the environment. Yeah. Okay, so basically what they're saying here is it's just going to get better over time. But yeah, limiting the person to just 2 spells per turn, basically, but you're doubling their mana, right? So like if you've got 5 mana, you can get 10 mana worth of spells out, but you can only cast 2. Well, okay, great. But that still means that I got 10 mana out, right? Like, you know, and then those things that I put out can still use the lands. Like, so like if I get a Kenrith, like I could put out a Kenrith and an Agent of Treachery. Agent of Treachery steals one of my opponent's lands, and then I can still use all my lands to activate my Agent of. Then I can still use all my lands to activate Kenrith's abilities, right? So I mean, like, really, you didn't think that would be too powerful? All right. Anyways, because of its high current win rate and metagame share and the risks and design constraints, Fire's Invention is banned in Standard. Now, okay, again, why didn't they do this earlier? And again, you know, I hate to say it, but I get it. Wizards is a business and they got to make money. But if you are going to try and push design, push design limits, and that's what they're saying. We want to kind of push power levels. Then you have to be willing to make those bans. Right, and they're not willing to make the bans, especially not early. So people have to live in like totally broken environments for like 6 months to a year before they're willing to do anything. Right, this is it's just making Magic not fun. All right, so anyways, next recently we've seen a rise in archetypes that use either Luca or Winota to put Agent of Treachery directly into play. While part of the design intent of these cards is to provide creative ways to deploy powerful high mana cost creatures, we've observed them that using them to play an early Agent of Treachery can be uniquely frustrating to play against and difficult to come back from. Yeah, no shit. Right, but the problem is it's not that. Like I said, now instead of Winota getting Agent of Treachery, Winota's going to go and get Kenrith. Right, and so the problem is that like now you've got Kenrith on the field. He's still a 5/5. He's indestructible on that turn, and then he's got a whole ton of activated abilities. Right, I think that's just really rough. Right, so I don't know. The effect of stealing any lands or key cards when at high play rate reduces diversity in the metagame. Decks built around unique permanents or big creatures have less chances to succeed. Yeah, no, really? You steal someone all their lands or their best stuff and you think that they can't win or they can't even play anymore? Yeah, I figured that. Okay. In order to allow for more comeback potential against Luca and Winota decks and to promote deck building diversity in Standard, Agent of Treachery is banned. Okay. So for arena players, that means basically you're probably going to get some wild cards on June 4th. Yeah. So they'll add an equal number of wild cards. If you have those cards already, then it's going to add them in, I guess. It would be adjusting the Throne of Eldraine Corset Pack Coalition to change the rate in which these appear in booster packs. So basically what they're saying is that you're going to be less likely to get these or... yeah, so so basically when you win packs and stuff, you will only get these if you open up all the other rares and mythics in your set. Okay. Okay. Anyways, and then for arena, whatever, constructed events, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay. So overall, what do you think? Do you think this is enough? I don't think it's enough. I think it's a minimal attempt to try and balance things, but I think that overall the power level's been pushed. I don't think the companion rule. I think the companion rule is a step in the right direction, but I still think that they're too powerful. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll get back to you. I'll try and come up with what I think they should have done in the banned and restricted list, and there's quite a bit. But anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for all your support so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.